She said it herself. Calm, unbothered, direct. The internet is extra loud today, but this time it wasn't just noise. This time, a name had surfaced. A lawsuit had been filed. A secret had been buried for years, and the world was about to dig it up. For most people, a marriage is a private celebration, a quiet milestone. But when news broke in 2024 that conjoined twin Abby Hensel had secretly married Army veteran Josh Bowling back in 2021, the internet didn't just react. It unraveled. And buried beneath the wedding photos, the viral TikToks, and the congratulations, was a legal case that nobody saw coming. A paternity lawsuit, an ex-wife, a child whose father was unknown. So the question everyone started asking was simple. Who exactly is Josh Bowling? And what did Abby and Brittany know that the rest of us didn't? Join us as we go beyond the headlines and uncover the full story, the marriage, the secret, the lawsuit, and what it all means. Before we get to the secret, you have to understand the life that surrounded it. Abby and Brittany Hensel were born on March 7, 1990, in Minnesota. From their very first breath, they were unlike anyone else. Medically classified as dicephalic parapagus twins, they share one body but have two completely separate heads, two brains, two hearts, two spines, and two independent personalities. Everything above the waist is duplicated. Everything below the waist is shared. Abby controls the right arm and right leg. Brittany controls the left. Walking requires coordination. Driving requires communication. Living requires a level of daily teamwork that most people will never understand. And yet, from a very early age, they did it. And they did it well. They first entered the public eye in 1996, appearing on the Oprah Winfrey Show as 6-year-olds. They returned to public life in 2006 with the documentary Joined for Life, and again in 2012 with their own TLC reality series, Abby and Brittany. Cameras followed them through college, apartment hunting, and their first steps into a teaching career. After that series ended, they made a choice that most public figures never make. They walked away from the spotlight. No reality shows, no interviews, no social media presence. They moved back to Minnesota, earned their teaching credentials, and began co-teaching 5th grade at an elementary school. 2 women, 1 classroom, 1 shared body, and a life they built entirely on their own terms. The world assumed they were simply living quietly. What the world didn't know was that one of them had also fallen in love. In November 2021, Abby Hensel married Joshua Bowling in a private ceremony in Minnesota. No press release. No magazine exclusive. No reality show cameras rolling. Just a wedding, a handful of close family and friends, and a moment that the couple chose to keep entirely to themselves. For nearly 2.5 years, it stayed that way. Then, in March 2024, public records obtained by Today confirmed what no one had announced. Abby was married, had been married, and the internet, in the way only the internet can, exploded overnight. Within hours, a wedding video clip surfaced, Josh and Abby sharing their first dance, laughing, kissing. Brittany present, as she always is, in the white dress they shared. Josh's daughter Isabella, from his previous marriage, visible in a now-deleted Facebook photo alongside the family. The image was warm. The moment looked genuine. And for a brief period, the coverage was almost kind. But then people started asking questions. Not about the love. About the man. Josh Bowling's background on the surface reads like a profile of service and sacrifice. He was born in Tennessee. He enlisted in the United States Army and served as a combat medic, one of the most demanding roles in active military service. He deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan as part of the 1st Cavalry Division, treating wounded soldiers in live combat zones. The work required precision under pressure, emotional resilience, and a willingness to run toward danger rather than away from it. After leaving the military, Josh didn't leave healthcare. He transitioned into civilian nursing and later moved into hospice care, supporting veterans and patients nearing the end of their lives. It is the kind of work that demands compassion in its most difficult form. Before Abby, Josh had been married once before. His first wife was a woman named Anika Bowling. They married in 2010. In 2016, they welcomed a daughter together, Isabella. After 9 years of marriage, the relationship ended. Their divorce was finalized in 2020, and both parents agreed to share custody of Isabella. On the surface, it was a complete picture. Veteran, nurse, father, and now, husband to Abby Hensel. But the surface was not the whole story. In October 2023, 2 years after marrying Abby, and just months before the world would even learn the marriage existed, Josh Bowling was named in a paternity lawsuit. The suit was filed by his ex-wife, Anika. Shortly after their 2019 separation, Anika had given birth to a second child, a daughter, born in late 2020. The question that the lawsuit asked was direct and uncomfortable. Was Josh the father? Court documents filed in Minnesota named both Josh and another man, Gavin Vatnsdal, as potential fathers. A genetic test was ordered, and for months, the case moved quietly through the courts, while Josh was living his new life with Abby, while their marriage remained a secret, while none of the public had any idea any of this was happening. The timing matters, because when the marriage finally became public in March 2024, it took only days for the paternity case to surface alongside it. Suddenly, the man at the center of one of the internet's most discussed relationships was also at the center of a legal dispute the couple had never addressed publicly. In April 2024, the paternity case was resolved. DNA results confirmed that Josh Bowling was not the father of Anika's second child. The biological father was determined to be Gavin Vatnsdal. Josh's attorney confirmed the outcome to the New York Post. Vatnsdal's attorney stated plainly in a Minnesota district court, "It's not Mr. Bowling's child." Case closed. Legally at least. But the internet doesn't close cases the way courts do. The paternity lawsuit, even after its resolution, had already changed how millions of people viewed Josh Bowling. The combination of a secret marriage, a legal dispute with an ex-wife, and a child whose paternity was contested became, for many online commentators, evidence of something darker than the facts actually supported. Here is what the facts say. Josh was divorced. His ex-wife had a child with someone else. A routine legal process determined paternity. Josh was cleared. That is the documented reality. Here is what the internet said. He was hiding something. The marriage itself was suspicious. A man with that kind of past had no business being near two vulnerable women. The accusations multiplied faster than the facts could follow. This is the pattern the internet returns to again and again when the story involves disability, privacy, and a relationship that doesn't fit expected norms. Abby and Brittany have never directly addressed the paternity case in public. They have not sat for an interview about it. They have not posted a statement. They have chosen, as they have chosen throughout their adult lives, to handle their private matters privately. What they did do was clap back, loudly, and on their own terms. When the marriage news broke in March 2024 and the criticism began rolling in, the twins took to TikTok. They posted a video overlaid with a deep voiceover. This is a message to all the haters out here. If you don't like what I do, but watch everything I'm doing, you're still a fan. In a second post, they shared images of conjoined twin statues throughout history and captioned it simply, "The internet is extra loud today. We have always been around." No apology, no explanation, no performance of victimhood for public sympathy. Just two women, clear-eyed and direct, reminding the world that they have been navigating public attention since they were 6 years old, and they are still standing. Josh also broke his silence, briefly. In a September 2025 interview with People magazine, he acknowledged the intense public interest in their family, but declined to comment on specific private matters. His statement was measured. "I understand the extreme interest." Nothing more. Meanwhile, the family continued living. Family photos emerged showing Josh, Abby, Brittany, and Isabella together on nature hikes, at holiday gatherings, in casual outdoor moments. The body language was relaxed. The smiles were real. And in August 2025, the couple were spotted carrying a newborn, sparking an entirely new wave of speculation that neither confirmed nor denied. The reaction to Josh Bowling's paternity case illustrates something worth examining carefully. A paternity lawsuit is not proof of wrongdoing. It is a legal process designed to establish parental responsibility, often initiated to protect children, not to punish anyone. In Josh's case, the process worked exactly as intended. A question was asked. DNA answered it. He was cleared. Yet the timeline, revealed in such close proximity to the marriage news, gave the story a shape that felt dramatic. And dramatic shapes online fill quickly with assumption. There is a specific kind of scrutiny that follows any man who enters a romantic relationship with a disabled woman. Society has a long history of questioning whether such relationships can be genuine. Terms like devotism, an attraction to disability itself rather than the person, circulate quickly in these conversations. The concern is real. The phenomenon is documented. But applying it broadly and without evidence to every relationship involving a disabled person is not concern. It is prejudice with a charitable label. Abby and Brittany are not passive figures in their own story. They are two women with university degrees, professional careers, and documented records of advocating for their own dignity and boundaries in public life since childhood. Assuming they lack the judgment or agency to choose their own relationships, simply because those relationships are unconventional, is exactly the kind of infantilization that disability advocates have been pushing back against for decades. Studies show that approximately 70% of conjoined twins who survive birth are female. That means the vast majority of these conversations, these public debates, these questions about intimacy and autonomy, are directed at women. Women whose bodies are treated as public property. Women whose choices are questioned in ways that would never be applied to their non-disabled peers. The internet's obsession with Abby's marriage was never really about Josh's past. It was about discomfort. Discomfort with a body that doesn't look the way bodies are expected to look. Discomfort with a relationship that doesn't follow the expected script. And discomfort with two women who refuse to perform helplessness for public consumption. As of 2025, Abby and Josh Bowling remain married. The family, which includes Isabella as Josh's daughter from his first marriage, making Abby a stepmother and Brittany a stepaunt, continues to share glimpses of ordinary life through occasional social media updates. The TikTok account that many assumed was theirs, at Abby and Brittany Hensel, with over 331,000 followers, was confirmed by Josh himself to not be affiliated with the family. The account's operator remains unknown. The real Abby and Brittany are more private than ever. What is confirmed? They are still teaching. They are still living in Minnesota. They are still navigating the extraordinary logistics of their shared life with the same quiet competence they have always shown. And at the center of all of it is a marriage that was never meant for public consumption, built privately, revealed reluctantly, and defended not with words, but with the simple, persistent act of continuing to live. The dark secret the internet promised turned out to be a legal case with a clear outcome and a clear defendant. The real story, the one worth telling, is about two women who have never once asked the world for permission to live fully. They just did it, and they are still doing it now. If this story made you think differently about how we talk about disability, relationships, and the gap between what the internet tells us and what is actually true, hit the like button and subscribe. We cover the stories that live behind the headlines, the ones where the real truth is almost always more human than the rumor. We'll see you in the next one.